After years of silence, the truth can no longer be hidden. At 38, Pastor Lovy Elias's wife has finally broken her silence, confirming every rumor, every whisper, and revealing secrets that the world wasn't ready to hear. What she just admitted will shock the church, shake the community, and leave believers and critics alike questioning everything they thought they knew. This is not a story you've heard before. This is the moment the mask comes off. For years, Pastor Lovy Elias has been a name whispered in churches, social media threads, and private conversations admired by some, questioned by others. But behind the sermons, the polished appearances, and the seemingly perfect family life, rumors have swirled rumors that no one dared to confirm. Until now, at 38, his wife has stepped forward in a way that nobody saw coming. She's speaking openly, confronting the speculation head-on, and sharing the untold story that has remained hidden from the public eye. $71. Won't believe what she revealed about their marriage, the challenges they faced, and the secrets that threatened to unravel everything. This is where it gets unbelievable. What she shared doesn't just touch on personal matters, it exposes a side of life behind the pulpit that few have dared to see. Today, we'll take you inside the private world of Pastor Lovy Elias and uncover truths that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Stay with me, because what comes next will shock you, inspire you, and leave you talking long after the video ends. Before the rumors, before the whispers, Pastor Lovy Elias was a rising star in the faith community. Known for his charismatic sermons and social media presence, he quickly captured the attention of thousands of followers. People admired his apparent devotion, his ability to inspire, and the way he seemed to have it all: a thriving ministry, a devoted congregation, and a loving family by his side. But even in those early days, cracks were beginning to show. Those closest to the pastor began noticing inconsistencies, moments of secrecy, late-night absences, and unexplained tensions in the home. No one knew the full story yet, but something was brewing behind the polished facade. His wife, who had stood silently beside him for years, carried her own weight of doubts and unanswered questions. The pressure of maintaining appearances while managing the private struggles at home created an invisible tension that only grew stronger with time. And then came the tipping point, the moment that would change everything, though no one outside their household could have predicted it. But what happened next would finally push her to speak up, shattering years of silence and revealing a reality that stunned both supporters and skeptics alike. Even the most carefully guarded secrets have a way of slipping into the public eye. For Pastor Lovy Elias and his wife, the first murmurs started. Quietly online threads, hushed conversations in church parking lots, and social media posts that hinted at something amiss. At first, it was easy for outsiders to dismiss them as jealousy or misunderstanding, but as months passed, the whispers grew louder, impossible to ignore. Friends of the family began noticing subtle changes, less transparency, more guarded conversations, and a growing distance between Pastor Lovy and his wife. People online began piecing together inconsistencies in his public statements, sermon stories, and private actions. The rumors weren't just idle chatter, they carried weight, fueled by patterns that couldn't be explained away. Then came the moment that made everyone stop and pay attention. An anonymous post went viral, claiming to reveal a side of the pastor that few had ever seen. Suddenly, speculation became a wildfire. Every comment, every share, every reaction added fuel to the fire, putting immense pressure on his family. Yet through it all, his wife stayed silent. She watched from the sidelines as the world speculated, analyzed, and judged, all while knowing the full truth, truths that could change how people saw her husband forever. But silence can only last so long. At 38, she finally realized that staying quiet was no longer an option. The rumors, whether exaggerated or not, demanded a response, and when she finally spoke, what she revealed shocked everyone who thought they knew the full story. The day finally came when Pastor Lovy Elias's wife could no longer remain silent. After years of observing, questioning, and carrying the weight of hidden truths, she stepped forward with a courage that stunned everyone. The confession was not just a simple statement, it was a carefully measured revelation that would ripple across the church community, social media, and beyond. In her statement, she admitted things that many had only speculated about, confirming some rumors while clarifying others. She spoke of Struggles in the marriage that were private, yet undeniable moments of emotional distance, misunderstandings, and pressures that no one outside the home could fully understand. She revealed how maintaining a public image of perfection had come at a personal cost, creating a tension that was invisible to followers but deeply felt behind closed doors. But the most shocking part of her confession came when she addressed the more scandalous rumors, those that had fueled online debates and gossip for years. With a mixture of honesty and vulnerability, she acknowledged truths that no one had dared to confirm publicly. She shared experiences of feeling isolated, unheard, and at times powerless, painting a picture of a life that was far from the idealized version followers had seen on stage and online. Her words carried both heartbreak and strength. She didn't just speak to the rumors, she spoke to the audience directly, asking them to see the human side of a family under pressure, to understand that even those in positions of influence face struggles that aren't always visible. By the end of her confession, the atmosphere had shifted. Supporters were stunned, skeptics were silenced, and the community was left grappling with a complex truth. The life of a pastor, even one as admired as Lovy Elias, is not immune to struggle. But what she shared next, the detail that even the most loyal followers hadn't seen coming, would leave the public completely reeling. It was a revelation so personal, so unexpected, that it changed the narrative entirely. And just when it seemed the story had reached its peak, there was more to uncover, more truths that would continue to shock anyone who thought they had the full picture. The moment Pastor Lovy Elias's wife made her confession public, the world reacted, and the reaction was immediate, intense, and unrelenting. Social media erupted as clips, screenshots, and posts spread like wildfire. People from all corners of the internet weighed in, dissecting every word, questioning motives, and debating the implications of what had been revealed. Supporters of the pastor were torn. Some expressed sympathy, understanding the struggles she described and praising her courage for speaking out. Others felt betrayed, struggling to reconcile the image of the man they admired with the personal truths that had been unveiled. The dichotomy created a wave of conversation that flooded forums, YouTube comment sections, and church groups alike. Critics, meanwhile, pounced on the confession as proof of everything they had suspected but could never confirm. Headlines began appearing across news outlets, each one highlighting a different aspect of the revelation, from marital struggles to private controversies that had previously been hidden from public view. The story quickly became a trending topic, sparking debates not just about Pastor Lovy Elias, but about the pressure of leadership, public expectation, and the cost of maintaining appearances. Inside the church, reactions were equally intense. Congregants were left questioning their faith, their loyalty, and even their understanding of transparency within spiritual leadership. Private discussions erupted, with members debating whether the pastor's private struggles diminished his public ministry or if the honesty brought a new level of authenticity to his leadership. But the most striking fallout came from the broader faith community and media outlets. Experts in ministry, counseling, and church leadership weighed in, dissecting every claim and offering insights into how hidden tensions can build in high-profile families. Psychologists noted the immense pressure faced by public figures, especially pastors, and how silence can sometimes create explosive outcomes when truths finally surface. Even as conversations raged online and offline, Pastor Lovy Elias and his wife remained largely silent about the public reaction. Their measured discretion only fueled further speculation. Everyone wanted answers, but the couple's decision to respond selectively created a lingering tension that kept the story alive and the public glued to every update. And just when it seemed that the story couldn't get more complicated, a shocking twist emerged. A revelation came to light that changed the narrative once again, forcing followers, critics, and casual observers to reconsider everything they thought they knew about Pastor Lovy Elias's life behind the scenes. The question on everyone's mind became, what could possibly come next? While the public reaction dominated headlines and social media, the real story, the one that had been hidden behind closed doors for years, was far more complex. Pastor Lovy Elias's wife finally peeled back the layers, revealing personal struggles and private moments that no one outside their home could fully understand. She spoke of nights filled with tension, when the weight of expectations, both spiritual and social, felt almost unbearable. Behind the camera, the lights, and the sermons, she and Pastor Lovy faced the raw realities of a marriage under constant scrutiny. Arguments that seemed small to outsiders were magnified under the pressures of ministry life. Decisions that appeared simple on the surface were fraught with emotional complexity. One of the most startling revelations was how isolation had affected her mental and emotional well-being. Surrounded by people yet feeling profoundly alone, she described the difficulty of living in a world where everyone assumed the perfect image they projected was real. Every smile, every handshake, every inspirational sermon carried a dual reality, one that required immense strength to maintain. She also shared moments of deep vulnerability that had never been publicly disclosed. From private conversations about fears of judgment to confronting personal disappointments, she painted a vivid picture of what it truly means to live in the shadow of public expectation. These were not exaggerations for attention, they were the authentic, human struggles of someone trying to maintain love, loyalty, and faith in a world that often misunderstands what it sees. And then came the revelation that stunned even the most dedicated followers. Behind the polished image of ministry life, there were secrets that even the closest friends had not been aware of. These included financial pressures, conflicts within the ministry, and decisions made under duress that shaped the family's trajectory in ways most had never considered. She revealed how some of the rumors circulating online, though sensationalized, had grains of truth, confirming that the picture people saw online was only a fraction of reality. By sharing these private struggles, she offered not only an explanation but also a lesson that leaders, pastors, and public figures are human. They feel, they struggle, and they sometimes falter. Honesty invited empathy and understanding, challenging everyone to look beyond appearances and question the narratives they consume. Yet, just when it seemed that every secret had been laid bare, she dropped a final revelation, a detail so intimate and shocking that it left followers, critics, and even the media reeling. It was a truth that would forever change how the world views not just Pastor Lovy Elias, but the complexities of life behind the pulpit. And as this story unfolded, one thing became clear. The real journey, the journey of truth, accountability, and healing was only beginning. As the dust settles from the revelations shared by Pastor Lovy Elias's wife, one thing becomes crystal clear. The world we see online, in church pews, and in social media posts is often only a fraction of reality. What appeared to be a flawless marriage, a perfect ministry, and a seamless family life was, in truth, filled with struggles, unspoken challenges, and personal battles that were hidden from view. Her courage in speaking out has not only confirmed long-standing rumors, but has also humanized a story that was often reduced to gossip and speculation. For the congregation, followers, and casual observers, it's a reminder that even those in positions of influence face trials that test faith, love, and resilience. The impact of her confession is far-reaching. It forces the faith community to confront difficult questions about leadership, transparency, and the pressures placed on those who are looked up to. It challenges us to approach stories of controversy with empathy, to understand that behind every headline, there are human experiences, sacrifices, and truths that demand respect. But perhaps the most important takeaway is this: honesty, even when it is painful, creates space for growth, understanding, and healing. By breaking her silence, Pastor Lovy Elias's wife has not only revealed the truth, but has also sparked a conversation about accountability, marriage, and the often unseen costs of public life. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the lessons from these revelations are far bigger than any scandal. They remind us of the fragility of appearances, the complexity of human relationships, and the power of truth. If this story moved you, shocked you, or made you reflect on the real lives behind public personas, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more stories that uncover the truth behind headlines, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. There are more stories just like this waiting to be told, and you deserve to hear them, because in a world full of whispers, rumors, and polished images, the real story, the truth, always matters.